Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a Keelgottime video. And today, because Keel's got some time, we're gonna be reacting to why people rent girlfriends, why men rent girlfriends. Hopefully this doesn't get copyrighted. Yes. My mouth, oh my gosh, it looks really swollen. What the hell? Guys, I got 3 teeth taken out earlier today. 3 wisdom teeth. The 2 bottom ones and the top right. I know this is left for y'all. This is the top right. Like, bruh. Out. So yeah, for the next good couple videos, I am gonna be sounding mash up and probably looking mash up. So yeah. Let go. Or if I look difficult to look at, just ignore me, please. Okay. No, even just cause I'm in pain, bro. Just cause I'm going through some shit. Videos can't stop. The show must go on, you know, like that. So yeah, let's get it, guys.
I rent girlfriends. I spent over £50,000 on it.
A rented girlfriend. What are the pros?
There's so many pros. There is
Oh, this is in England. Oh wow, I thought this would be in Japan or something, or China. You know, where that's like an actual like legal service.
little cons.
So why are men renting girlfriends that aren't even real?
I don't want the realities of life. I want the yes woman.
Who doesn't say no?
Yeah, who doesn't say no?
After months of investigating, one man who rents girlfriends has agreed to speak to me, and it's the first time he's spoken to anybody about what he does.
Have you ever felt like an incel?
That's an interesting question.
I started this investigation thinking this was a story all about sex, but T is in this for something a lot darker.
To a lot of men, I guess, this is their way to get...
He in this for that control. That's right, he like, bro. I already know. This is a man. He ain't barely had any women growing up. Barely got attention. Bro just probably got embarrassed maybe by some girl. Bro just wants control fam. That's what this
is rightly theirs.
I've tracked down forums full of guys who are doing this and women all around the globe appealing to them for a paycheck.
Eu adoro os que ficam apaixonados por mim porque eles sempre gastam mais dinheiro comigo.
And it doesn't stop there. I'm taking this to the next level, and by the end of this video, I'm gonna ask T to do something he's never done before.
This is a big day. It's like a genuinely big day.
To talk openly with women about what he does face to face in real life.
For me, honestly, that's an absolute no.
Yep.
Don't do that. Yeah, this nigga hated on.
Trying to make her feel uncomfortable for the sake of it. So I guess why?
All right, so to be honest with you guys, I've been working on this investigation for a very long time to try and get deep into the world of renting girlfriends. It's been about a year, maybe a bit less. And yesterday, I made a massive breakthrough. There are a few different webs of guys online renting women to pretend to be their girlfriends. But to be honest, I don't really know why. So I've been trying to get in touch with these guys online to find out. You know, hit them up with the usual Zanlan proposition. Hey, do you want to come and be in a documentary with me where everyone will hear your deepest, darkest secrets? And once again, believe it or not, it's actually worked. And the guy I found, it turns out, is kind of the guy to talk to in this space. He used to be one of the moderators.
Oh, if I'm on this type of shit, oh yeah, Batman couldn't even beat that out of me. I'm telling you, Batman could not beat this information. Renting girlfriends. Renting. Crazy word.
Of the biggest global webs, the place to find a rent-a-girlfriend, and he did it for 7 years. So he's pretty much
7
the
years.
best source I could hope to talk
He's
to
a pro
find
in
out
this.
why the hell guys are doing this in the first place. He's agreed to talk to me as long as he's anonymous. You're not going to see his face, you're not going to hear his actual voice, you're not going to know his name, but you are going to hear his story. So meet T. So T works in the city of London, he lives with his parents, and he's in his late 20s, but beyond that, I don't really know much about him. So yeah, so I'm going to the pub, I'm gonna take him for a pint, and to be honest, I have absolutely no clue how this is gonna end. Let's find out.
Yeah, go on. Okay, let's do it.
How would you describe yourself?
I'll describe myself as a 27-year-old single male, successful career, but lacking in one department, the love department. 95% of my life I've been single. It's not that I didn't want a relationship, I was looking, but it wasn't happening. Sometimes you get rejected. I guess every time I got rejected in that sense.
What do you think the differences are between like a rented girlfriend and a real girlfriend? What are the pros?
Oh, there's so many pros. Dare I say so little cons. The online girlfriend is compliant. She's, your dream girlfriend. A normal girlfriend, she might have work, she might be doing stuff, and she'll say, I'm tired, or whatnot, which is a fair point, obviously, but the online girlfriend, they're gonna, say, they don't experience tiredness, or they wouldn't tell you that we're tired or whatnot. They would do what you want, kind of thing.
But is that subservience something you're looking for?
I mean, somewhat. I mean,
Somewhat. Yeah, obviously, yeah, that's what I want. I want them to do what the fuck I say when I say it. Jesus! Nigga, you asking me this like, duh.
ideally, they're not saying no that much.
When you say that, like in what sense, what scenarios are they not saying no?
Well, let's say, you ask them to photo themselves. A normal girlfriend might be like, oh, I don't look good today, blah, blah, then, they'll refuse. But the higher girlfriend, I mean, they're getting paid, so they're going to do what they have to do to get themselves ready to get that photo of you, because they know you might just cancel otherwise if they're not making you happy.
So there's a kind of power over them that you wouldn't have in a normal relationship.
Yeah. If I was a woman and I knew that the person I was dating had been involved in these hiring a girlfriend schemes, I would not be happy with that. No women would be advocating for other women being exploited.
Is that what you think's happening? Like the kind of women are being exploited in those scenarios?
I think most of the time, yes. Most women, because of the money involved, they're kind of forced into it, even though they don't want to. But the reality is, with that money on attraction, especially if you're looking for, let's say, a college girl, somebody's like 18, 19, by default they are, willing to do anything for the sake of money. These women are desperate, and, dare I say, if the guy didn't help them, they would be some of them would be in the streets or homeless or doing worse things maybe.
No. He doesn't get to do that, bro. He doesn't get to do that. He doesn't. Bro's acting like he's just out here creating job opportunities, fam. No. No, this is like borderline prostitution, mate. You don't get to say that. Nah, he can't get away with that one.
So very quickly, T started talking in a way that I was a bit uncomfortable with, talking about how he
Yeah,
felt
I
he was
can
exploiting
imagine.
women, how he was kind of using money to pressure them to do things and be in a situation where they just couldn't say no. I wanted to know like where this was coming from, so I asked him to show me the forums that he used to moderate.
So it's basically like a Reddit forum full of what, men and women?
So sellers will make their posts, and then you can either go to them and mess them yourself.
What does a post say?
Usually you start with the physical aspect. So you say, I want a woman who's, 18 to 23.
And then women all come forward on that post.
It's like their sales pitch, so they will say, yeah, I'm a, 20-year-old woman, and blah, blah. If you're interested in the people, you'll say, well, that sounds great. How much do you charge? The good ones will give you like a trial that, where you pretend they're your girlfriend without sort of paying them. And I guess it's one of those things, once you try and do it and you have a decent time, you suddenly realize like, yeah, I can suddenly get whatever girl I want just by paying them. Isn't that like the dream in a sense?
How much do you think you've spent in total?
Probably about 50,000 in total.
You think you've spent £50,000 in total?
Yeah.
See, it would be a different story if this nigga was spending 50,000 and he was getting some coochie. But this is all over the screen. I don't know what. Bruh, he must have got violated by every bitch that done talk to him.
I'd like to
Right.
think about 50,000. That's like a deposit for a house.
So even now, saying it out loud, I'm okay with it. I think experiences are worth paying for, if that makes sense. And yes, it is absolutely a lot of money. I think if you start regretting how you use your money, that's not good for you.
This one says, I'm looking for someone that can help with my social skills. Ideally, we'd be like good friends. I also feel like I could use this kind of like therapy. I imagine it feeling really good to have a close connection, have something together. I'd like it to be genuine, even if it's fake. A lot of them are pretty heavy, aren't they? My life isn't great right now. I'm really lonely and depressed and sad, so I'm willing to pay the right person to talk about intimate things and pretend to be my friend.
One of my first posts was a little like this, but that's because I was, just being honest and open.
T was obviously struggling with loneliness, and I get that, who hasn't struggled with that? But that feeling had clearly become something a lot more sinister.
I've done stuff with like incels before. Have you ever felt like an incel?
That's an interesting question. I think there have been times where I wasn't a hiring girlfriend, where maybe I was feeling like I was being drawn towards that incel kind of culture. And that's where, you're on YouTube or like the dark side of the internet, you're just kind of watching, I don't know, a guy like Andrew Tate, whatever, you're listening to for hours and that's going into your head.
So the incel ideology revolves all around one thing: the black pill. I've actually made a doc on incels before, as well as a few other areas in the manosphere, like looksmaxing and gooning, so make sure you like and subscribe to Zanland so not to miss our future films. But here's a quick summary of what I've learned so far. The black pill is a worldview that tells men that unless they're attractive, wealthy and dominant, basically chads, they're fated to a life of irrelevance, where women will never date them. This idea of a genetic fate, where you're unable to find love.
Yeah, I believe in that. It's good he broke this down. I didn't know what black pill was.
And attract anybody, kind of removes all responsibility for finding a partner and encourages resentment and hate towards women. Hiring a girlfriend seems to fit into all this as a potential solution, a way to escape that rejection and to cure loneliness. If I'm going to properly understand why people like T and incels are hiring girlfriends, I need to ask some pretty uncomfortable questions and go somewhere a bit quieter than a busy pub.
I think because this modern world leads to a case for a lot of guys where trying to find a real relationship is incredibly difficult, and that's where hiring a girlfriend comes into it.
You know, sorry. Every time I come to London, I always walk down here. Every single time.
It's another option, and dare I say it's a good option. To a lot of men, I guess, this is their way to get back what is rightly theirs.
I mean, it feels like within this, there's like a sense of entitlement around that kind of, these men and yourself at times feel like you're kind of owed women, but you don't have the women that you deserve.
As a man, you think, I'm going to work hard, do all the things I'm meant to be doing. I'm a good citizen of the world. I deserve a girlfriend kind of thing. I deserve a partner, come back home and have a, pretty lady to come home to.
Who doesn't say no?
Yeah, who doesn't say no?
That's not like a healthy relationship, surely.
I mean, I don't want the reality, extra stresses, the realities of life. I want the yes woman, in a sense, because it's going to make my life better.
A lot of people would say that that's like a pretty reductive way to see a man and woman relationship, and I guess like maybe a little bit worrying.
I guess guys, we need support to figure out how can we be fair to women and the relationships that we hope to get.
I mean, a lot of these ideas seem to come from like, I suppose, the manosphere, the world of the incel, Is that where a lot of these thoughts have come from for you?
Yeah, I can only say my opinions and views are shaped from the world that I see around me. I deserve a partner who's going to love me back. And if you don't get that, you feel that resentment and maybe anger against the world that I'm doing everything I'm meant to be doing. Why isn't it working? So maybe this hiring a girlfriend thing actually, in some respect, helps tame the anger a bit. I think being angry at
This guy, I don't like this guy. I do not like this guy at all, bro. Like, what? Because I was gonna say, like, there's being lonely. And, you go through lots in your life, so you may fall down this rabbit hole of renting a girlfriend. Still weird. But, hey, you're lonely. And then there's this. Like, I really think if he was to actually be in a relationship with a yes woman who says yes all the time, he would not like that. It would get very annoying. I'll be like, I understand, yes, you know, you don't want the moaning, you don't want the nagging, but nigga, that's humans. Like, that's what makes the human connection even more special, is that people have emotions, you know? So, yeah, gosh.
Women in
Don't
general
like this guy.
doesn't achieve anything because there's not much, you know, every woman can do. But I think, you know, as a collective society and whatnot, we need to try and, you know, obviously encourage the women to, you know, to try and bridge that gender imbalance. And
Does that mean lower standards?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the bar is very high for women, and
I guess women would probably argue that's kind of way too simplistic of a kind of assessment, in that actually the men just aren't kind of good enough or not trying hard enough, or the women have high expectations because they should be able to have high expectations of the men that they go out with.
yeah, I don't think that's true. I think if I look to myself in this bit of self-reflection, I've not got any height issues, I'm successful in my career, I have some hobbies, I'm not unfit, you know, I can crack jokes sometimes. I think what the problem is because of that choice, women are looking for, you know, the top 10%.
But you think women are looking for what, like 9 out of 10s or something? Like what?
Well, I mean, if I knew what women were looking for, I probably wouldn't be single. But when there's conscious efforts from women to kind of pick who they want, they're going for, yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10s.
Do you think women should have that level of choice?
I mean, in an ideal world, it should be a bit more equal.
Do you think that sense of kind of maybe entitlement you sometimes have, or the sense of these kind of traditional old school gender roles, could that be the reason it's hard for you to meet women?
It's not like men don't know what to say to women to convince them to get their way. It's just maybe women are getting clever enough to see through that.
A lot of
Oh,
what
what? No. No, don't put that on men, bro. That's you. That's what you think. Don't put that on the rest of us.
was saying here was pretty
Oh, no.
shocking to me.
I don't
and
want that
really wanted to know
allegation.
what it was like to be on the other side of all this. From what he told me, a lot of these rent-a-girlfriend relationships are online, and the guys very rarely meet up with the women in real life. The appeal really did seem to be that it was a simulation of a loving interaction and not really about the sex. So Tia told me from his time as a moderator of one of these forums that a lot of the women selling these services are from places like Southeast Asia or South America, places where Western guys can use a bit of wealth disparity to pay for power and control. So to continue this investigation, I'm gonna have to meet one of these women in real life, and that means flying halfway around the world to go to Brazil.
Boy. See, I want to travel like this, but for
That's
one
literally a
documentary.
massive escort advert advertising companionship services.
Amy Kikoro is a Brazilian sex worker who's also a girlfriend for hire. And I want to talk to her and find out what she gets out of this. What's it like to interact with these guys?
She doesn't speak any English, so I have to use Google Translate, and that's supposedly what she does with the clients.
Amy started doing sex work when she was 18 after seeing an advert in a newspaper. It was a path she used to leave a home with a dad that she says was abusive.
Oh, here she is.
She's increasingly selling what she calls the girlfriend experience, and she's agreed to spend the day with me to answer my questions.
Do you consider them your boyfriend, or is it business? Is there any real love there?
Com certeza eu gosto deles, mas é de uma forma diferente, não é como namorado. Eu adoro os que ficam apaixonados por mim, porque eles sempre gastam mais dinheiro comigo.
How much does it usually cost to spend a day with you?
Eu cobro R$4.500.
Amy's clients
Damn. 800 a day? Jeez. Right, these get to hit.
sometimes do fly out to Brazil to meet her in real life, and then she'll spend the day with them, including having sex. We were going to a house, which is a place she doesn't usually take clients for her own safety.
So how do you speak to, like, foreign gringos? How do you talk to them?
Eu passo a mão no pau deles.
How did you get into this?
Eu falei, vou começar na prostituição, vou pagar minha faculdade, porque na época eu fazia faculdade de Direito. Vou terminar a faculdade de Direito, vou seguir como advogada e vou parar com a prostituição. Eu vivi uma situação um pouco abusiva na minha casa. Meu pai, ele pagava todas as contas, ele dava tudo para mim e para minha irmã, mas ele queria ditar as regras e ele era muito agressivo. E também eu tenho oportunidades que uma menina pobre não teria nunca na vida.
No, at least she's aware. At least she's
As
very
pessoas que me procuram
self-aware.
querem esse perfil namoradinha, querem que eu dê atenção, querem ser quase enganada. Ele me paga e essa hora ele vai querer que eu seja a namoradinha dele. Eu mando mensagem pela manhã perguntando como tá o trabalho, escutar que eu amo. E eu falo. Eles são bem carentes.
Psychologically, why do you think these guys are looking for someone to feel emotionally attached to?
Não conseguirem, na vida real, uma namorada da forma que eles desejariam, que é gostosa, uma gostosa na cama e uma princesinha na rua, né? Como diria esse ditado popular. E aí eles contratam como uma forma de se enganar.
Do you find that you're doing more kind of companionship?
Os homens estão cada vez mais querendo contratar profissionais do sexo do que ficar com uma mulher que vai encontrar e vai ser um encontro como um date comum. Eles sempre falam, eu vou gastar com Uber, restaurante e lá, e na hora eu não vou transar.
When guys do come to meet Amy in real life, she likes them to take her to a restaurant. And obviously, they pay for it.
How often are you getting clients who want to spend time with you because they can't meet women otherwise?
Que é muito, mas 60%.
What do you do in those situations where you're meeting a guy who's so lonely, so depressed, that you're the only woman that they can talk to, they have to pay to talk to someone?
Eu sinto que eu tenho um papel importante ali no momento de acolhê-los, tentar acolher essa dor, tentar acolher esse vazio, tentar lidar com esse vazio o melhor possível, mesmo que seja...
Wow, this is surprising me. Like, she's really doing this for the love of it. She's really out here hoeing for the love of the game. Like, yeah, she needs the money, but like, she's learning her clientele. She knows them inside and out. Like, bruh, oh my days. Wow.
Não seja de uma forma perfeita como eles gostariam, tem alguém que se importa com
Like, she's trying to be a pioneer in the game.
eles. Por exemplo, um cliente que me traz aqui e ele tem depressão. E ele fala que eu faço muito bem a ele. Eu acho que é muito mais questão de autoestima baixa do que a pessoa mesmo não ter, assim, não poder, sabe? Mas a pessoa acha que isso seria impossível. Grandes clientes, vários clientes têm que fazer terapia e não fazem, né?
I think what's interesting here is that so much of what Amy's saying is kind of like the exact opposite of the black pill, that radical ideology of the incels that seems to be taking a hold of a lot of the guys here. Amy is saying the problem with a lot of her clients isn't looks, it's mindset, you know, self-esteem, mental health issues, and that they'd really benefit from going to therapy, but that's exactly what they're not doing. Amy had to go because she had clients to keep company. Being a girlfriend for hire seemed to be an arrangement that she was happy with, and she'd used it to make money that had changed her life. But she now spent a lot of her time interacting with men who'd fallen into radical ideology, like T. Okay, so I'm back from Brazil, and Tia's actually texted me again asking if we can meet up. I've asked him what he wants to do, and he said he wants to do something he has never done before, which is talk open and honestly with women to try and find out why he's single. I think this is a seriously big opportunity. It could not only help us get to the end of our investigation, but I think it's a major life moment for T to have his views challenged with actual women. But to be honest with you guys, I actually don't have a clue how we're going to make this happen because I'm flying in 2 days to make another film, and if we're going to do this, I need to get women on board right now. Maybe I can just do like an Instagram call out and see if anyone from the community of Zanlanders would be open to doing this. And you guys really came through because over the next hour, I got so many responses and got to work.
Hello? Yeah, it's Ben from Zanland. I've got a bit of an unusual request. Have you heard of the Black Pill? So it's probably going to be 3 of you in total. You're talking to a guy who rents girlfriends. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could describe him as incel-y. You actually think you can come? Ah, great.
Okay, I actually cannot believe that worked, but it is on. This was going to be something new for T. Talking to women transparently was something he'd literally never done before, unless he was paying them. In fact, other than me, he'd never spoken with anyone unless they'd met on the forums. So I really didn't know what to expect.
Happy Sunday. How you doing?
Sunday. I'm excited to continue our conversation.
This is a big day. It's like a genuinely big day. I guess an unconventional day in your life.
Yeah, for sure.
You probably don't sit down with 3 ladies back to back asking questions about kind of dating often.
No. The women online, I mean, they are primarily sellers, so they will never give you their honest opinion. There's no other reason really for me to be talking to women online.
Yeah, how much are you open to your mind being changed?
I've come into this project, experiment, however you want to describe it, as an honest kind of learning experience. I think you, Ben, you've been, very non-judgmental as per your past documentaries as well, and this is the place, this is the platform to be completely open. I mean, there's no time for any bullshit. It's just, let's get the answers I've been looking for.
T is going to speak with 3 different women: Laura, Eliza, and Alba. So T has come in with a bunch of questions that he's pre-prepared for them. And he wants to try and understand what they think about his worldview of subservience, power, dominance, and traditional gender roles. As you'd probably expect, these conversations are going to be pretty awkward and difficult. And it's worth saying that I've briefed all these women, still don't know how this is going to end up.
I've got questions for you.
Okay, yeah, you can go ahead with the questions.
So what intrigued you to come to and talk with me?
Interest in, I think mainly in why you would want to partake in something like this. So I guess I just wanted to kind of give you the benefit of the doubt in a sense and hear why you were interested in that.
Benefit of the doubt, that's an interesting comment.
There's a lot of negative connotations, around renting girlfriends.
Describe to me what you're looking for in a partner.
A bit more submissive than the ordinary woman you might meet. That may be my niche.
What you're looking for, let's say if we presented to you someone who was very much not that submissive type of person, would that be a deal breaker for you?
We have to get to some examples, but if we're messaging each other while we're dating and she doesn't respond to me promptly, then it's not going to work out, kind of thing.
What is promptly, like how quickly are you expecting in those situations?
If the person if she's available, she's at home, she's not doing anything, then immediately, I'd say. I mean, obviously, people need to go to do other stuff like go for water or go to the toilet, etc.
What's the implication?
But how do you feel about that? Because me, I can't lie, I'm like a bad texter. I'm a bad texter. And the thing is, I see your text. I see you type in. I see that you text me. I've probably even seen exactly what you text me. But I can't be bothered to respond. Sorry. I'll respond when I feel like it. So yeah, I'm not. I realized recently I'm probably not the person to date. I'm not the person to be with.
And if she doesn't reply quickly, though, what's happening in your mind?
Well, I think what's she doing? What is more important than talking with me?
For me, honestly, that's an absolute no. If you want to know how I would feel terrible because I wouldn't want to be controlled. I can't speak for all women. I would say that most women would not want that. You know, you wouldn't want someone to now text you and be like, hi, please text me now, and you're shooting a documentary, right? Like, it's just basic freedoms, and I would not wish anyone to have to go through that.
Would you agree then that there are some women who are fine to be submissive in that way?
This is very difficult for me because it's very different to how I am the same. I mean, I don't know the full extent of how submissive we're talking here.
How submissive are you talking? Because I also don't know the full extent.
They will kind of, within reason, you know, do what you tell them to do.
I'll be honest, I don't know any women who would choose to be in that situation.
Why do you think it is that you want this? You know, what is it that's making you want someone who does what you say?
I think it's idea, like you said, is about power. It's a sense that it's my way of getting what I'm due. For an average woman now, she's getting 100 guys after her, and so her expectations are a lot higher than if it wasn't that way before, as it was before, where, let's say, guys were the ones choosing the partners.
If you take the bulk of human history, women were forced into relationships that were nowhere consensual. The concept of dating is very much like a 20th century concept. Complaining about issues with modern dating, to me as a woman, feels futile, because the fact that women are able to make generally consensual decisions about relationships they enter, that feels like a marked improvement.
How do you feel about if you were dating someone, if a guy had been hiring a girlfriend in his past?
I think I would be judgmental at first. I would definitely be close-minded. There's one thing to talk about being open-minded, and there's another thing about, you know, actually encountering someone who tells me this. I would definitely be, you know, open-minded to at least try and understand of like why you've been doing that, but definitely it would put me off at first a little bit.
Part of me wonders if you wouldn't feel the need to have so much power over these girls if you didn't feel insecure that they'd leave you once you stop paying them.
Yeah, no, I think maybe that's a good angle to take.
I mean, it might be worth considering, I don't know if you've considered this in the past, but like relationship coaching. People deal with rejection on a daily basis, but I think the main thing is to not beat yourself up about it. These are things that happen day to day, but it shouldn't kind of, kick you back down and put you in this negative mindset.
So just after we finished filming, Eliza pulled me aside and kind of flagged something that T had done as she was about to sit down for the interview.
I walked in and said, where should I sit down? And he went like this. Presuming I'm sitting there.
Let's get rocking and rolling, guys.
Yeah, just come.
T. Mate, she's already been debriefed on who the fuck you are. You can't do that. I don't know.
Which just feels like a brilliant way to kind of open an interview and make someone comfortable.
Is that actually what he did?
Yeah, it's a power thing. It's a way to try and embarrass me, or a way to say, hey, I own this interview, you know.
So look, like, I do not think that behavior is okay. And I wanted to sit down with T and try and understand a bit more about why he did that in that moment. So,
yeah, like, bro, you say that to your girl or someone that you two been talking, been flirting, like, you don't say that to no woman that's about to interview you because you like to fucking rent online girlfriends.
It was interesting watching you. I felt like you're different talking to me than you were talking to the women. Like, you know, you mentioned to one of them off camera, you said, I think she said, like, where should I sit? And you did this. What made you do that?
I wanted the women to feel empowered in a sense that and fired up maybe a little bit.
So you wanted her to feel empowered by saying, sit on my lap?
Well, no, I wanted to feel angry by me suggesting that. She would give me the fiery, responses that I wanted to kind of get, the feedback. I wanted to feel confident in the feedback she was giving. She could be as direct and transparent as she wanted. And
do you think that makes any logical sense? If you wanted her to feel that, why did you not say to her, I just want you to feel comfortable to be as direct as you can, as opposed to saying, sit on my lap?
Yeah, I can't explain that one. It was a poorly worded joke.
That's a bit creepy, you know? It felt like you're trying to overpower her. You're trying to make her feel uncomfortable for the sake of it, which
again, is that sense of entitlement. So I guess why?
Yeah, to me, it was, I suppose it was a little like a peacock, flaring its feathers, trying to impress the other person. And it was me trying to say, look at me, I'm impressive, I'm confident.
Have you like read something, or like is that spoken about on like subreddits, like kind of like how to act in those scenarios?
Yeah, I think general first impression guidance with dealing with women is that you want to be confident and appear
Yeah, but not that.
insecure, even if you
Not
are
that
feeling
confident.
nervous. One of the ways you can do that is by making outrageous kind of comments or suggestions to show that you're not afraid of anything.
If you, just be a genuinely nice person who makes people feel comfortable being who they are and not threatened, your likelihood of having a positive interaction that could then lead to a relationship is significantly higher. There is a question of like, do you think that the black pill is the reason you're finding it so difficult to meet someone?
Yeah, I think so. I think what they were drilling at, and that's what I got gauged from the rest of the answers, is they're saying the mindset is the most important bit. I had one question, a final question that was okay, just for yourself.
Oh, go for it. Yeah, ask me away.
So you met me the start of the process, and I suppose this is the end for now. How do you feel, seeing me as a person?
I think one red flag is that idea that if you text someone, they don't immediately text you back, you're going to be upset about it. That needs to change if you're going to have a healthy relationship. So, I'd say try and work on yourself. Like, I don't want to suggest, I'm not a doctor or I'm not a psychologist or whatever, but like, there's something making you want a subservient woman. Seems to be a sense of fear and rejection.
Yeah, I think that's where it all maybe stems from, and maybe that was very well said, Ben. Or if I continue to, go down this path of just wanting, a submissive woman, I'm probably not going to find that in the first place without paying for it. But also, that's going to take me down a darker path in how I view women and relationships in a wider sense as well. The positive bit was from the women saying, you are here maybe now, but you're not stuck there. They seemed obviously not happy with it, but, not completely distraught about it either. They'd rather you tell them than not tell them, and that was one thing I haven't done before. Being honest with myself and to the people I date in the future, being confident and comfortable that, who I am as I am is, enough for that.
Yeah, and I'd also say, look, I'm a guy, I'm married to a woman who's a badass, who's not subservient in any way, who tells me how it is constantly. She earns more money than me. We have a child together. It's fucking great. Like, there's a beauty in having a relationship that's equal, where the woman is absolutely killing it. You support that person when they need to be supported. They support you. It's an equal, balanced relationship. Like, the idea that you want to be in a relationship with someone is just, beholden to you and you're belittling them by expecting them to do what you want all the time, that is not going to make you feel good inside anyway. So I think, like, take it as evidence that there are relationships that are freaking nice. I genuinely hope you find love and happiness. I hope it's not in a subservient relationship. I hope it's in a relationship where you both treat each other with respect and value each other's opinions, and that's, live happily ever after. But you said some stuff.
A man like Zanland, a man like Ben, because I would have came in here straight, nigga, fix up. Jesus! I would have said, fix the fuck. I probably would have, real quick. I said, no, we're not doing this.
Stuff that's going to piss people off, for sure, because there'll be people who watch it and go, wow, that feels quite offensive. But the fact you've come here and shown up and tried to change that mindset, I think is extremely powerful. After we finished speaking, we turned the cameras off, but then something incredible happened while the mics were still rolling.
I think I've given up on hiring you for now. I've got to stick to it.
I think that's no, we have to get there. We do have to get that.
I don't see myself going back to hiring girlfriends
Really?
ever again. That's going to be hard, I know, because at times I'm still going to feel the loneliness, but what's on me is to find healthy ways to replace those feelings, and that could be, like you said, therapy, or surrounding myself with, maybe more women friends, or thinking, what am I going to do to counter those feelings that are dragging me, to the dark side? That kind of way will help me survive for the long term, but that is my intention, to never go back to it.
After all of the kind of deeply entrenched views of resentment and anger that T had shared with me, I really did not expect them to reconsider his views. I always go into these investigations hoping that the person that I'm spending time with is open to reevaluating their views. I try to come in the same, but it's very rare that the person actually does change. Time will tell if T actually changes, not just whether he rents girlfriends, but if he addresses the underlying reason of why. T was part of a community of men online that was using money to rent women for power and control after being radicalized online. But I do want to know if T does continue to change, so I'm going to follow up with him in a few weeks, and I want your guys' help. So if you want to ask T a question, put it in the comments. We're now doing YouTube members.
Nah, shout out, Ben, man. Shout out. You know what? I'm gonna subscribe, bro. That was a very interesting video. We'll watch more of his documentaries in the future. But guys, with that being said, man, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, all of that. 2 videos dropping every single day, 5:15 UK time. So make sure you pull up tomorrow, because I'll see you then. Peace, love, and prosperity. We gone. Also, I don't know if I've ever plugged it on this channel, but I'm back on my TikTok grind, y'all. So, type 1 Keel on TikTok. All about my diabetes and my life with that, if you want to see if you're interested. So, but yeah, peace.